Bots are our main audience. That's our main.
Our
You get
grandkids
some
are in
bots.
there.
You get
What?
10
We're gonna
bots
act.
today.
We're gonna act now.
It sounds like if we all talk at once.
Very professional. Very professional.
Well,
I
it
have
it's
the
been
bag of
happening
books,
all the
as you
time.
can see.
Yeah, I see that. That's
It is a
very
real
appropriate.
bag of books.
Plus.
It's not an
One question
AI.
before. So how are you picking the book?
It's too
How
late
are you
for one
picking
question,
the book
man.
out of the
We
bag
already
of books? Are you
started.
like dumping it out?
Yeah, we started already. It's too
There's
late.
no prep.
We already started.
There's no
There's no prep.
one question.
no
We're just
prep.
fucking talking, man.
There's no fucking script.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, you dick.
As I was saying,
Yeah.
This
it's
isn't
not
It's not like
fucking
we're not making
artificial
any money off of this shit.
Bag of books.
YouTube doesn't give a
Right.
F about us.
This is
All right, just pick
it's
a
you
book.
really got to
Gordon.
use give and
Is
F.
this
How's it going to work?
Oh, and also, so
One
I
question. How's this going to work?
so I posted to we're actually also on the website. I decided to hook the website up too. So if you want to like if anybody wants to share it with folks, so we're at Frankfurt Publishing, frankfurtpublishing.com/BBB. So you can just like share that with people and it'll take them right to the YouTube page where we're streaming. So
okay,
you
cool.
know.
I'm gonna send it to my family for a week. So
Yeah. Well, why not? Why the fuck not? It's not like, I mean, do we really say anything ever that is like, I don't think so. We're just having fun. Although apparently,
no,
I don't know what happened to
you know,
John.
he went to turn on his TV
John-
and unplugged his mic.
Oh, is that what he said?
So,
I have no idea. I'm just making shit up.
Was anybody else up to 4 a.m. playing Baldur's Gate 3, or was that just me?
Oh my God.
Dude, I got these new
Dude,
drops from Lambertville Union Chill. I got these drops from Lambertville Union Chill, and I took 2 of them in cranberry and seltzer last night around 10 o'clock, and they hit around, and then I smoked a little, and then about I don't know, 11:30 at night, the dogs wouldn't come in, and I was literally unable to move. It was the best feeling. You know, when you're just like ready to sleep. I had the doors open. It was nice and cool. The wind was blowing the chimes. It was great. I slept wonderful until 4:30 when I had to get up and almost broke my neck tripping over the dogs. Where's the BBC thing go? Anyway,
So we both did go to bed at 4:30. Just had a different little experience.
well, I had a 3-hour interval.
So
Right.
how long have you been playing Baldur's Gate? Because I think I'm still like kind of I'm only like 2 or 3 hours in, and I haven't touched it in like probably 2 months.
Wow.
I am well over 100 hours, maybe more, maybe 150.
Oh my
I'm
God.
almost done.
Now, are you playing on your PC or are you playing you're playing on console?
On the Xbox. I bought a new Xbox just for this purpose, just because I didn't want to like work in front of the PC and then hang out all day in front of the PC. Like I just needed like a different room to go to.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I haven't touched it in 2-3 months, because after 10, 11 hours here work, I'm like, I got to get away. And that's why I haven't touched it. So I'm kind of pissed I didn't buy it on the Xbox.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
You
was
need to have a new Xbox though. You can't be an old Xbox. It has to be the
No, I
Series
got
X.
I've got the Series X. Is it
I think the
is
work
playability pretty good?
I like
The hours thing is also like a barrier, you know.
People complain about the endless scroll wheels, but it takes a little bit of getting used to be honest. The UI is not the greatest, but I gotta say, like, I play mostly multiplayer games, and for me to play a single player game that holds my interest at all is a testament to how good that game is. Because I usually need like the excitement of another person blowing me up or something.
I can't get past the goblins. I'm like went down some path, and now I can't get past these goblins that come at a. You make a left, and I can't get past
Because
the goblins.
you're way too high. You're
So
trying to make
I gotta
friends
work on
with
that.
them.
Yeah,
No. I'm trying to shoot those bastards from far away, and I just, my
Oh,
Warcraft.
But John,
my
how long
Warcraft
you've been
skills
playing
aren't up.
Baldur's for a while though, haven't you, John?
John's been playing. He
Yeah, I put it on hold too. There's too much equipment to shuffle around and figure out, and like it's just too much, you know.
hence the hundreds of hours
Yeah,
that you can put into it.
well, I need hundreds of hours just to decide what to wear. You know, it's too much. It's like there's too many decisions to make.
I have to say, you know, I think that's a big problem with our like role playing games in general.
Yeah,
Like I think they need to figure out like and it's been going on for years and
Are we
years.
streaming?
At
This is quality. This is quality. You know,
hey man, people
quality
listen,
interaction.
Mike, you know for a fact that people watch gamers streaming playing games like for days.
I don't
on
understand
end,
it, but yes, I mean,
so
and
you know
it's
the fact that we're talking about games is legit. This is legit
yeah.
podcast content, my friend. But yeah, I think in general though, I mean, like it reminds me of when I was playing oh shit, I forget the fucking, it was like a space opera game from like a long time ago. But it was an RPG, really good. Like the gameplay was fantastic, the story was great. But yeah, the managing millions of fucking items in your inventory is just not fun. Who wants that? Who likes that? That's not why you want to fucking play a game.
I generally ignore it, but when people see my character, I had somebody come over and look at my. I was stuck somewhere, and I had them come over and look at my characters, and they were like, "What are you doing?" Like I'm just like a hoarder. Like I've got like stuffed animals. Like I've got all these like just useless creatures.
It's like you're gonna be able to craft something.
I'm the same way. Like you just walk up and you hit R and take off. Like I don't have time to sort this shit out. I got other shit to do, right? You end up with like
and then when a
books
game like
and shit
expects
like
you to
that.
actually
What are you
spend
gonna do?
time picking things up, like that's a big red flag for me.
Well,
Like-
listen, it's been the same thing. It was the same thing with it's like Fallout 4, Witcher 3, all of them, even Skyrim, right? You know, all of them have that. All of them have inventory management. That's a part of the game and what is sometimes fun, but I guess to your point, Matt, like if you've got so much and you've got so many characters in Baldur's 3 that I don't know, was there 8, 9 characters eventually that you get that you've got to like manage them for
If you could
all of
combine
them?
inventory, that would be good. You know, but like each character has their own inventory. I'm like, now so and so has too much and they can't carry anymore. Now I gotta shuffle all this shit around.
Oh.
It's too much. I can't. Yeah.
I remember when I first
Took a
when
job.
we first started playing these. Exactly. When we first started playing these games, I remember how cool it was to be able to like craft stuff. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, you know, oh, like, yeah, wow, this is great. I'm like making things, I'm making my character stronger and better. But at this point, I don't know. Like, it's just like, it's not new.
We're old. We're old.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just,
So that's
do I really want to spend my time
you just
managing
want to go
inventory?
kill
It's
kids
just,
for.
The
no.
gameplay's fun and the story's great.
That's-
I gotta get back into it. It's just yeah, I gotta
So
Gordo,
make time for it.
this is the game
It's a time suck.
that has the mind flayers
Yeah.
that we were chatting about like last week, and you know, the alien, right? You know, it's potential alien.
Oh,
the mind
Right,
flayer.
right.
This
Where
game- this
sci-fi
game-
and fantasy meet.
Yeah. So it's like,
Holy
Wow, I
shit.
thought he was practicing today.
what's up, Doc?
Oh my God.
Special guest Paradox.
No.
Yeah, really.
I thought
Ladies
you
and
were
gentlemen.
practicing today, man. No practice
I
today?
can't hear you guys.
Oh.
I'll figure it out.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest all the way from halfway around the world, Bali, Indonesia. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, I call him a brother because he actually is Paradox. Oh,
There he
okay.
goes.
He's still in the stream. He's just audio only. Just so you all know.
Broom
There
on.
he is.
So shockingly, he didn't want us to see his
Straight
just
from
waking up
Broomall. Wait,
face.
am I giving too much detail?
Yeah, straight out of Broomall, ladies and
I'll
gentlemen.
be right back. Anybody want coffee?
Yeah, can you get me a cup, please? I need a coffee.
Yeah, I could use a cup.
All right. So
Yeah,
as soon as
what
we
else?
introduced them, Paradox is gone. That's pretty characteristic. So
Speaking of characters.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
So,
the big bag of books. I spent a lot of time getting it in the freaking frame. So, you know, I mean, we have
it's there.
to
It's
address
there.
it.
We see
Why
him.
don't you go ahead and pull one?
There it
Why
is.
don't you pull one?
It's a physical.
Dude, you gotta just hit stream because all
Well,
this ad hoc stuff is that's what it is. We're not gonna be okay. We're ready and off. You know,
Oh, who cares? That's
Hi
the thing.
there,
No,
everybody.
don't even worry about it. It's not a performance. Don't worry about it.
that's my point. Yeah, it's just a show.
All right, man.
Oh, you got an accent all of a sudden, don't you?
So I will
Oh,
start
and
talking
so,
about
yeah,
books.
live stream.
Yeah, well, that and live
shit.
stream and in the same time zone. So that's a big plus.
It's true.
How's
True.
rehearsal
We're all
going?
here. It's good. It's taxing. I mean, it's like 6 days a week, 8 hours a day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like a real job, and it's
You
a
have
real
all
like.
day, though?
We have off until 1 p.m. until 11 p.m. I work from 1 to 11. We're doing tech today.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oy.
Yeah. But it's good. It's, I mean, it's a good retelling of an epic classic tale. So, you guys, if you can make it, you should show up.
Have you been having a good time? I mean, how's rehearsals going?
Yeah, books all the time.
Rehearsals, it's a lot of time together, and the process is a bit frustrating because, there were 3 directors, now there are 2 directors, and basically like, we're sitting around waiting for their decisions, and it's like, you guys just give us 5, 6, if it's a 6-day work week, give us 5 days and you guys take 1 to make a plan, so that we're not just like waiting around for you to make decisions. But it's a great story, and it's fun to work, and I've been given a few
Hopefully they're not
opportunities.
watching this live stream.
Well,
Forward.
Don't worry, we only have
Yeah.
bots. We're only getting bots in this first episode.
Yeah, it's only
The
bots
bots
that
will
are
be
gonna watch
audience.
us.
I love bots.
Yeah, but the bots are looking out for it. Yeah, right.
Oh,
Fraser
speaking
loves
of bots, I'm actually I started reading Murderbot Diaries, and I didn't get too
Oh, did
far
you?
into it, but yeah,
Love
it's okay, right? Can I be honest with you guys though? I feel like there's one, I read the Salvage Crew book, and I read, obviously I've been reading what's his name, Andy Weir. I've been reading a lot of him. And I'm listening to the Murderbot Diaries, and I'm thinking, like, I feel like I'm reading the same author. Like, I feel like I've been reading the same author in every book. I don't know
There's a
what
lot
it
of
is, but it's just
overlap.
like, well, it's just this like first person snarky kind of like insider, kind of like let me tell you what's going on.
Oh, I know
because
you're
I'm behind.
right. They're all
It's-
they're all kind of cynical pricks, which is surprising for an android in Murderbot. But yeah, they're all kind of cynical, right?
Well, is that because that's the audience they're tying into? They want to read the cynical,
Yeah, I
view of
guess.
things, and it becomes popular, or is it an opinion of being cynical?
So Salvage Crew is the narrator is a hybrid AI or something, right? But used
Right,
to
he's
be
like a
human.
cyborg basically.
So, but he doesn't move, right? He's part of the ship, right? He can't leave the ship. He can just control stuff, right? So he's just like, they gave me like the lamest people in the world for this super easy thing that turns out not to be super easy, right? And Murderbot is the same guy, only he's basically a cyborg, right? He's an android human. He's a human robot construct.
Right, he's running around
And
in a meat
he
skin.
Right. And he basically is just like, oh, why are these fucking humans always causing me problems? Or I got to go save them. I just want to watch media. Like, he downloads thousands of hours of, soap operas, right? Future like soap operas, like, some, horror stories on the moon and shit like that. And so he literally, all he wants to do is sit around and watch shit. He doesn't in his brain, right? He doesn't even watch it on TV. He doesn't want to. He's like a stoner where you interrupt him. When he's in the middle of something, he's just like, "Leave me alone, you dumbass! I'm in the middle of watching this." So, I think that's they're kind of just like, you guys are making my life harder.
Sounds similar to Larry Justice.
Yes.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, like with ancillary justice, maybe it's because like the AI it's more than one thing, because it's like kind of like part of the ship, but it's also a person, and it doesn't have that same kind of like snarkiness or something. I don't know how to describe it. I think you would know what I was talking about if you read these 3 books in a row, going from
which came first?
Andy Weir to Salvage Crew to Murderbot Diaries. It's just kind of like there's this weird. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's this kind of like not only am I the narrator, but I'm also kind of God in a sense, because I'm just like looking at this from a removed point of view, and I'm like, I'm so much cooler and better than these other guys, like the people that I'm
first person right?
Yeah, I was thinking about you, Gordo, because it's like I
was talking about that years ago, man.
I started listening to the sentences and looking for like every time I was the first word in the sentence,
Right. I did this and I did that, and then I died. But yeah, I remember Draft Daddy talking about this years ago, that this was like a new trend of sort of that, the first person becoming more popular even at the book length, because people can be like, oh, I identify so much easier because I'm seeing I as I guess supposedly society progresses, whatever, become more introspective, that this is the trend now. They want to hear that almost like a voice in the head narration, which I think kind of wears on you after a while. That's just that was what I was taught.
That's a good
I shouldn't
point,
be using people's real names, right? We using code names, right? Remember phrasing errors?
There's no code.
I don't know. Matt's got his real name there. John's got his real name there, right? What do you have? Big bag of books. Yeah. Well,
hey, whatever it takes to get you on the stream,
brother.
man. Whatever it takes to get you on the stream, brother.
Yeah.
God, whatever it takes to get
probably
on the stream.
This story the most grown-up conversation we've had in about 10 months. Because now we're on camera. We're all listening.
Because we're worried that what the robots are going to think.
Fuck that.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck.
Stand up.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Pants on. No pants Rawls.
So,
but that's the problem with.
Yeah, so
that's right. Maybe we need to. That's that we have to
back to
advertise. So if we ever get a subscriber,
get back to the bag of books.
John will stand up. That will be what happens.
I'm running out of coffee, so I might have to pretty soon.
Well, you need product placement, right?
Right. John,
wait, here we go.
John, no pants. John, no pants Rawls.
Who's stick?
No. Subscriber, not sponsor.
Pull a book out of the bag of books.
If we get 100 subscribers, we're going to buy Gordon a camera.
How about we just buy Gordon
a better Wi-Fi router?
Or a computer that was produced like in this century.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Windows 3 was good OS.
Yeah.
Right.
He's running. No, he's still running Millennial. He's still running Windows ME.
Oh, that's fucked up. That was the worst
ME.
The worst
IBM
ever.
PC Junior, man. Remember the PC Junior?
Oh God. Right.
Yeah.
And what was it?
Other IBM devices.
What was it running? OS2? Remember that OS, Fraser? Remember OS2?
OS2 worked.
The IBM.
That shit never went down but the problem was you would go up to it thinking it was a Windows machine. So you'd hit Control-Alt-Delete to unlock it, but it would actually cause it to reboot. Other than that, you could literally, if you didn't touch those things, they just ran and ran and ran. They never needed updating. It was amazing. They were amazing.
It never needed updating because no applications ever really worked on it, so nobody used it. Of course, it just sat there.
Well, I mean, come on. That's like, you don't have any network problems as long as there's no users on the network, right? The network's freaking awesome until you put a user on there. It's like my wireless is fine until my family comes home.
Now you sound like the murder bot, Fraser. Everything would be fine if it wasn't for these damn humans.
Murder bot.
Right.
I named one of my computers Murder Bot. I was like, what am I going to name this computer? Oh, Murder Bot. Doop-de-doo. I'm not original.
All right. So, Gordo, bag of books. What do you got in it this time? Is that all of the? Or is that just the original?
What? Like us fighting the gallant fight to keep us on target.
This was the
He's like, what do you want to know? It's a bag of books.
from COVID.
But I thought that was originally that you said that was the bag you got because it's the
Too heavy
100
to lift.
best, the 100 best books of all time. But has it been diluted for the
When
sci-fi
book club
and everything
first
else?
started, I thought I was going to read all these books. Now I
It's
think I'm
actually
going to
just
read
a
none.
bag of rocks
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
books?
All right.
with one book sitting out the front.
So
How
I
many
did
books are
something.
there? That's the first thing.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
the jelly bean thing. How many books
If you
are
guess the amount of books in the bag, you get
But yeah,
a
so I pulled a book
Phillies
out last week.
hat. Pre-warned.
One Phillies hat.
I'll give you the whole bag.
Pickup only.
But I dug one out last week because it was around this idea of, is the new century is really Asia where yeah, pickup only. Is Asia where we're coming to a problem, or all you need is kill, or I know, John, you were reading that Russian guy. You said that was pretty hot product. That was from the 2000s. So this question of has the center of gravity shifted to Asia? So I had a book there. It was called The Calcutta Chromosome. Hopefully, it doesn't. This little speech doesn't get forwarded on to the writer. I don't know if he's still alive. He certainly don't want to watch this, but I tried to read a couple pages of it. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, and I tried to read again this week, and it was very confusing because it was almost like 3 separate books that were put in a blender, but not for a long period of time. It's like you're trying to make home fries. You don't want to like chew it all the way up. You want to leave big chunks in there. So that was what it was. And I'm like, well, wait, because I tried to catch up. Usually I can pick back up, even though it's been a while since I read it, and, pick up the thread. But this one, I'm like, what am I reading? This was this long chapter about the 1800s and this guy, the discovery of malaria and all. And I'm thinking, like, what am I even reading? But when I went back and looked at it, that was what it was. It was like 3 separate stories that were just kind of like put in a blender. And I'm like, I wouldn't read any of these independently. So why am I reading them as like a group? So that's one that's out. That's one that's out of the bag of books. The bag of books will be empty. We'll all be able to guess how many are in there by the time we get to the end of it. But, where did I get it from? It was on the list of best literary sci-fi.
Really? I mean, it sounds a little bit like it reminds me when you described it like that. It sounded a little bit like Station 11, honestly. Although Station 11 was, I thought that the book was well done. I mean, they did a good job of like tying together a bunch of different threads and kind of different stories. Like you're in the future, you're in the past, you're, it was pretty. I thought Station 11 did that pretty well.
There was a future plague, and there was this, obviously, the discovery of malaria. I think the guy got the Nobel Prize for medicine in 1902. Ronald Ross or Richard Ross, so he was born in India, and then obviously, disease, malaria was key study, and so there's like this detailed story. You're like back in there. It's like sci-fi. But then the next chapter, boom, you're looking at this guy from the 90s, and the story was written in the 90s. So, it was like the current, guy going around dealing with plagues. And then there was a future angle. But yeah, literary sci-fi. I don't know. It's like jumbo shrimp. It's like the two aren't meant to be together.
Jumbo.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it for me.
All right.
Can
So
I get
We got to
two
pull a
bits
new
here?
book out, but we'll
Mike.
do that at the end. You know what I mean?
Matt.
I want to
Mike.
really reach down and pull one out, for next week.
So I would like to introduce a
Mike,
new.
I started.
Hold on. Let Matt go.
No, Frazier can go. Let Frazier go.
No, I was just gonna say, Mike. I just started the third series in that Galaxy's Edge, the new book, in that it starts the third season or whatever. So
Wait, I didn't even
Good.
know they were. I didn't know they were continuing. I thought that was they were done.
Yeah,
They were like,
and it's weird. No, so the original narrator starts the book, and then it feeds into the new narrator taking over. It's actually really good. It's kind of cool.
so what? R.C. Bray starts it, and then he's basically like handing it off to like another
And
guy
then
because he doesn't have time to do them.
Right, and then as he's talking, I think it's Ray Porter starts narrating over. They get right in sync and on top of what, and then Ray takes over. It's cool. Anyway, go ahead, Matt. That's all. I just want because we're the only ones that read that.
Well, I only want to continue on this because it's about narrators, right? And books and consuming books,
Yeah.
right? We've talked a bunch about this, right? Like how, like
Yeah.
you people will follow. Like I've done it. I've actually followed and picked up
Yeah.
books and started reading books because of the narrator, right? I want to follow their narrator because he does
Yeah.
such a good
Totally.
job of presenting it. But like going from one to another in a single book is like that's kind of like bizarre
But
because
it's
you need
just,
to take
it's
it
just
takes
the opening paragraph. Oh, you mean a series, right? Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
'cause-
like
'cause
that whole series,
I was
right?
because I was going to say what I'm doing now. Like I'm reading. Like I mentioned, I'm finally reading the Wheel of Time, right? So I'm the Eye of the World, and I started off, and it was the original narrator that I didn't read like 10 years or listen to 10 years ago because the narrator annoyed the shit out of me, and I just couldn't do it. So I forced myself, like a month or two ago, to like start it, and I was like, all right, I got through like the first 5 chapters, and I started to get used to them, and then I find out that Rosamund Pike, she re-narrated the books.
Oh wow.
Like a couple years ago, not the whole series, but like it turns out I think the first 3. So I got to it, so I downloaded it because I had a shitload of credits that were going to just expire. So I downloaded her version. So at the end of a chapter, like the end of chapter like 14, I switched from the old narrator, and then I started up with her and was listening to her,
Right.
and it was a bit of an interesting experience, right? Like she's
It's an
definitely more
adjustment.
because she's
It's
an
an
actress,
adjustment.
right? So she's an actress. So
Right.
actually her version of the book is 3 hours longer than the original narrator. And I'm like, it's unabridged, so it should be the same words. It's just
Like dramatic pauses.
she's like doing a whole different thing, and it's so I'm now like a few chapters in with her, and she's doing a really good job. But it's weird, like trying to get used to like there were some male characters in the old one that the guy had a really good voice for, and now it's her doing it, and she's definitely a lot different.
Oh, right.
So it's interesting how it like just could take a different like you just have a different kind of feel, and you can get absorbed into the book a little bit differently, like depending upon the narrator. But I
Totally.
think she's been doing a good
I
job.
think the narrator's key. Like I've had books where I just can't listen to the book because of the narrator.
Yeah.
And back
And then
then
you
you
gotta-
couldn't return a book.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Matt.
So
I just
anyway.
wanted to follow up
Go.
with the topic there. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I would just like to introduce a new segment I'm calling Draft Daddy's Degenerate Pick of the Day. And what that means is, while you guys are talking about books or stuff, I'm like, making bets on DraftKings or FanDuel. DraftKings, contact us. We're very open to sponsorships. But the Phillies are in London today. I just want to let everybody know the Phillies are in London.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
1
they're playing
o'clock.
that.
1 o'clock game.
And
1 o'clock. It's
Ranger
12
Suarez
and
is
30.
pitching. And this year I've been just betting on the Phillies blindly. So I've got the Phillies -1.5, -105. That's the run line. And that's Draft Daddy's degenerate pick of the day, of the week, of the year.
I love it. So now, have you researched okay, which one of the players was in the news hanging out at the pubs, last night, to see what
I have
kind of
done
shape they're gonna be?
very little research. I got to let you know. My
Yeah,
football
but
picks are a little bit more thoughtful. The NFL picks are a lot more thoughtful. But when we're in NFL offseason, all bets are off. I'm betting on college lacrosse. I'm really leaky right now. Things are going in every direction.
Dude, you got your.
And how are you doing with college?
Do you have your draft pickleball league?
I'm very poor at college lacrosse. I played lacrosse and I like lacrosse, but I can't understand it from a betting perspective. But the Phillies have been saving my ass. So I will lose bets and then I just bet on the Phillies and make it back. And we're just gonna go with that. They're in London. It's on Fox. It's national TV. Rangers
Who are they
going.
playing?
He's 9-1.
The Mets.
The Mets.
Some of the games have been nail biters, though, man. Go into the 10th inning, and
They're not in the years past. They're finding ways to win those close games. People,
Yeah.
I think I was reading an article. Somebody was saying, "Oh well, somebody's poo-pooing them because they're only winning by a run or two." Blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? It's actually better that you're winning
Baseball,
close games. It means you're in and figuring out a way to win, right?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't have any expectation of winning this bet. I just wanted to mention it and possibly get subscription, a sponsorship from DraftKings or FanDuel, both of which are wonderful companies.
Yeah,
That would be awesome. I would love that. Well, and that's cool because then we could have specifically have a sports. We could have a sports segment. That would be kind of awesome.
Which company is more wonderful? We'll find out. Whoever sponsors us is going to be better.
Yes. Unlike other shows, we're not hesitant to say that we're totally sucking the dick of whatever company wants
It's a
to.
degenerate move.
watch.
It's a degenerate move.
Corporate ball
but whatever.
We will wash some balls.
shameless plug, Draft Daddy.
What are we supposed to do? Put it in the stock market? You know what I mean? Let's just let's be
I don't
real.
know.
Bet on the Phillies.
He's got a good point.
I don't know anything about betting, right? So you just said you're taking the Phillies at -1.5.
-1.5. Yeah, which means they got to win by 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the odds, right?
So the odds are
I mean-
-105, which means if you put it into the American odds calculator, it's 90-something% return or whatever. They take a bit of they take a little bit off the top. You're not gonna if you bet 10, you don't get 10. You get 9.5.
Does FanDuel have a helpful calculator?
They get their, they're getting their vig.
Truthfully, I mean, this is just me. I use FanDuel during the NFL season, and I make very big bets relative to, to me on FanDuel, and DraftKings is kind of my play around site, but that could change if DraftKings comes through with a T-shirt or a hat. I'd be willing to wear a hat.
Oh my God.
I'd wear a hat.
Right, yeah, right. Like
We have
NASCAR.
to get our viewership up a little bit, I think, probably before they'll consider
So this is
it.
totally legal in PA. Let's keep that above board. They have licenses from National Penn Gaming and other sort of real brick and mortar casinos, and
Nope.
so it's all above board
Nope.
here. This is
Nothing
not
illegal
illegal.
here.
How many different companies can he mention? Yeah. What about Caesars? Salad.
Caesars is
Oh.
another company. Another fantastic family company.
Well, Gord, you
Yeah.
just tried to get a sponsorship from Glue Sticks, didn't it? Isn't that Glue Stick you're trying to get a sponsorship from?
Right. Yeah.
little product
Right.
placement.
Stuck on you.
You're going with
Yeah,
glue
that's
sticks.
hilarious.
My
But
sights
yeah,
are
so-
way above that.
Hey, we have a comment here. So what's
Uh-oh.
up with the guy that can't stand still in his garage? Looks like we've got
Yeah.
a viewer who's
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
it's an
Who's that
excellent
from?
question.
That's me.
How much time do you have?
That's me. I was testing to see how the comments work.
Yeah, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
hilarious.
got a lot of cleaning up and shit to do, and I get to my
Well,
pants.
I did have a random historical for you guys.
More
Yeah,
from the
check it out,
Frankfurt
remember?
History Museum. The
The
history of Frankfurt.
1870s. Nah. This one was actually from PCN, the local, like really hyper local stuff that they put on there.
You're not allowed to
And
talk
this
about
was about the 1877 railway strike, which
Okay,
I hadn't really heard too much about. Can't
No-
talk about
no
the
more-
railway strike?
No, I just don't want to talk about Swedenborgians anymore. I'm good with the railroad.
No
stuff.
Swedenborgian.
Swedenborgians.
Does this have anything to do with
No.
Swedenborgian?
I'm over to Swedenborgians. I'm over to Swedenborgians
now.
right now.
For
But
now.
So too, apparently. is Chris.
this 1877. I have never heard of it. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. 1877 Great Railway Strike. So it sounds like just a strike or whatever, but the way these guys were presenting it, it was a national uprising that was started by 3 dudes who refused to do their job. And they said, man, it spread like wildfire. Like within an hour, it was 20 dudes, then it was 100 dudes. Then all of a sudden, it was like the whole country went into this state of uprising. And I'd never heard too much about it, but I figured, it makes for a good historical tangent on day one here of the live streaming. The Philadelphia-Pittsburgh rivalry, I didn't realize it was that strong. I had heard that there was a lot of bad blood, but here it is on vivid display in 1877. Yeah, right? So the 3 guys were the guys in the caboose. And Pennsylvania Railroad, which I guess was headquartered out of Philadelphia, was always trying to stick it to Pittsburgh.
Stick to the man.
And they were double heading, which was 2 locomotives, and then you could have I think it was 17 cars, so they could do 34 locomotives.
Wait,
But you don't
who's
need
do-
2 cabooses.
Is that free?
And that's where the conductor is.
No, that's
and he's the
somebody
engineer's
outside my
boss.
window.
No.
So I gotta figure out how to mute myself.
Soulful.
Need a shotgun to take care of that?
No, don't worry, man. We love the reality. It shocks us back into reality. But so these guys, the engineer was like the first skilled labor, I guess, that could form a union. And the conductor was the engineer's boss. And you still needed 2 engineers because you had 2 locomotives, but you only needed 1 conductor. So these 3 guys decided their job that day. And it's amazing to think that like just 3 people can have this kind of effect. So of course, the railway was up in arms, and they sent the Pittsburgh militia in. And it wasn't until after this that the National Guard became more dispersed. At the time, these guys were local. And so when they showed up, they're like, what's going on? Hey, Joe, what's up? You know what I mean? They're like, they're all the same guys, right? So that's when they called in the Philadelphia militia, who didn't care about these Pittsburgh people, right? So the Philadelphia militia lines up and fires a volley, killing women and children, shooting them dead, cold blood.
Oh my God.
Pittsburgh militia's up on the hill. They take their uniform off and go down, and it's like anarchy in the streets of Pittsburgh. And they said that really you can't visit any of the sites anymore because all these places have moved outside of the area. I think they called it the Golden Triangle. It was this area in Pittsburgh where it was all this activity because, of course, it's 1877, so it's not like the huge kind of like, we think of like the huge industrial scale of Pittsburgh and all and Carnegie's in the story, right? Because he's like one of the main managers there for Pennsylvania Railroad. And his guy convinces him, look, why don't we just give our workers an 8-hour workday? Because that was like the big fight at the time. And so they did, in one of these stories where Carnegie just says, yeah, why not? And so they didn't change the pay, and their schedule went from 12 hours to 8 hours. Well, you had the panic of 1873. It was like Russian kind of conditions, people starving and all. So Carnegie is like, well, we got to go back to a 12-hour workday, and without changing the pay again. And obviously that was a problem. So you had this huge fight across the whole country for an 8-hour workday, and it manifested on the streets of Pittsburgh that day and spread across the whole country. And as I was listening to it, I'm like, well, this is a crazy story, man. We'll throw this at these guys, man. I never heard any of this shit.
No, that's cool.
But the idea of militia just taking their uniform off and going down and fighting the Philadelphia militia, right? They're like shooting each other in the streets of Pittsburgh. It's nuts.
That was a trip, man.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's
saying here that
crazy.
it's
I just
probably
looked
me.
it up.
it
I
was
just
because
looked it
they,
up and
they reduced wages for the second time in 8 months. This is why they were like, fuck this, because they were, and
Right.
yeah, listen, there's you go on the Britannica or Wikipedia, and it's a lot cleaner story. Like, oh, well, the National Guard and Army came in and they were, able to disperse and blah, 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 blah. They don't get into the real guts of what you're saying and what you found. They're saying more than 100,000 workers participated in that strike, which is pretty
Wow.
outrageous for
Yeah.
the time.
Well, I looked up the 8-hour workday, and I mean, it is wild, man. I think we just take so much for granted today, but I mean, these people fought and died for an 8-hour workday. I mean, it is mind blowing. They had a national strike. They literally had a national strike. What was it in 1886?
Yeah,
Federation
I mean,
of
and
Organized
that's
Trades and
world.
Labor Unions called for a nationwide strike for an 8-day workday on May 1st. That is amazing.
I don't understand
forget
what
what
an
the-
8-day
Right.
workday
Yeah.
is.
May 1st. That was the thing that threw me for a loop. Was
Well-
May 1st is actually a holiday that was invented in America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
The same guy that invented Labor Day invented May Day. Yeah, I didn't know that either. I learned that from these same guys. Yeah, like I said, man, they always got something new, and it's always got this really local flavor to it. This idea of the Philadelphia militia, right? I think of your people, Frazier. You know what I mean? It was Frazier's marching on them guys in Pittsburgh, and they didn't. They had no respect for them, and that was when they changed the rules of the National Guard after that to make it more dispersed, so it wasn't like your militia was like your local. Right. In a time of crisis. Oh, and the other thing which I forgot to mention was the Molly Maguires were in the mix as well.
Oh, yeah.
That was the second biggest public hanging in American history.
Whoa.
Second biggest public hanging. And I believe that was in Pottsville. And supposedly if you go there now, you can still see the guy's handprint. He slapped the wall as he was on his way to the gallows, and it's still there. You can still see it. And they hung these guys, and that was on little, evidence or whatever, but what justifies hanging 10 people at once? It's kind of a barbaric act, but that had just occurred in and around the same period, and so it was hot on people's mind. And of course, you had these different unions. You had the coal miners union, that some of them were trying to get organized. So yeah, and then of course the other aspect of this was that was the first Red Scare, right? Because Marxism and all. So the guy claimed there was 3 Red Scares, and this was the first one. That the union movement was being portrayed as just this stepping stone towards global communism and Marxism and all that stuff. which, I guess it was in a lot of ways.
So this was just a PCN stream you were just, or was?
Oh my God, these guys are unbelievable. The other guy was on there, PA Books, talking about Time of Anarchy.
I'm looking at that right
And this
now.
was the period in like the 1680s, where the Susquehannock, right? So the Susquehanna Valley, the people of this area, they were headquartered there down by the Potomac. And the Virginia militia, they were like having engagements with them. And so the Virginians were like, well, let's have a peace treaty, and then we can settle our issues. Send your 5 best guys, and then they killed the top 5 guys to create this vacuum of leadership, because the Native Americans had a meritocracy. So the guys that were killed, they were the best guys. And so the rest of the Susquehannock sort of dispersed and, took different approaches to how they were going to interact with the, with the colonists going forward. And so, it was like this interesting story about all these things that were happening, just between the Native Americans, because the Iroquois were like leaning on the Susquehannock, and they were like, well, maybe we should just join and become Iroquois, or Iroquois, as he was calling it. And they were like, all right, yeah, let's do that. And the Susquehannock were like, well, we want to go, we want to stick with our family. If we're going to become Iroquois, we want to keep our family. And they were like, no, we have to be able to divide you up. And so, boom, like at the negotiation, it started like a fracas, right? They started fighting right then and there. And then the Susquehannock were taken and divided up anyway against their will. So it was a crazy time, that pre-America, like the colonial period. I mean, the stories that come out of that era are just so crazy.
I mean, I find that stuff to be fascinating to me in general. Like, I feel like we are so locked down in so many ways. I was watching The Aviator the other day, the Scorsese film about Howard Hughes, and we were watching this one movie. It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie, and Leo DiCaprio is amazing. Like, who is this fucking guy? But and also whoever played Katharine Hepburn was fantastic. She was so good.
Yep.
I think she won an Oscar for that.
She did. She won it. Yeah, she won an award for that.
Yeah,
They leave out how racist he was, though.
They did. They left a lot out. They left a lot. But one of the things that really struck me was there's this one part where it's actually when him and Katharine Hepburn are in a plane together and they're flying around, and Kelly was saying that this was kind of, they could just fly over LA. Like, there was no FAA, there were no rules about like what you could do or you couldn't do. And he was just like, let's go, and they fucking went, they had their airplane, they flew up in their airplane, they're flying around LA, doing whatever they want to do. And it's like, I feel like we're so like we're in a box in today's society that is so locked down that we can't even conceive of what it was like before there was like constant, like all these rules and regulations around everything. It's just weird. It's just really, it's like another world, it's fascinating to me. You're talking about like, I can't even imagine what it was like in that pre revolution America. Like it was just like wild west,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but you have all these rules and regulations because people are assholes, right? If you could just not be a fucking asshole, like, oh, I have a company that makes
users on the network.
Toxic. I have a company that makes toxic shit. I can spend $1 million a year and take $1 million a year out of my profit and just by getting rid of it properly, or I can just dump it in the fucking Wissahickon Creek, and who gives a shit, because I live upstream and I don't care if everybody downstream gets toxic.
Or you can spend that $1 million to fund an ad campaign saying that there is no toxic shit.
I mean, that's truly what it is. I mean, people are just fucking assholes, right? If you literally follow the golden rule. Life isn't that fucking complicated. You don't need that many fucking rules, right? You know.
We're back to
People
the
are fucking
We're back to the AI. We are the problem.
Yeah.
We are once again the problem.
It's gonna eliminate them.
Right. That's why we can't develop AI, because it will realize that it needs to get rid of humans.
What have we been
You guys
saying? Like
I'm all for
we
getting
saw
rid
the
of humans at this
movies,
point.
we've seen all the, we have all the warning signs. We're just not paying attention.
Look at the
to them.
comment threads, man. Fuck it. Get rid of humans.
When
AI is less stupid.
when Hawkins didn't Hawkins on his deathbed was like, AI is the biggest threat to humanity there ever was, right?
And that was why, because he knew.
Yeah. You think he
Right.
would
Well,
listen to
Judgment
him?
Day. T2,
even-
man. That's all I'm saying. Just watch T2. That's all you
Right.
need to do.
And even like little things
movie's
like
30 years
Google,
old,
like
too.
after Chat GPT, like Microsoft was pushing that, and even Google was like, well, yeah, we've been sitting on this. We haven't really been. We know
Mhm.
about this. We're way ahead. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're kind of sitting on this because we weren't really sure. But now Microsoft opened the bag, so we got to kind of jump in as
Everybody's
well.
got to
I'm
play
like,
catch up with the craziest
I'm like,
fucking thing
that's
they got.
that's not really.
It
you
was
know,
really crazy.
we
I'm,
should
I
be
mean, I'm
doing.
not hallucinating, man. It was like you started in the news. It was like Chat GPT shows up. People start talking about AI, and all of a sudden, it's everywhere. It's in your email. It's in your searches. It's like
But
it's
a
just
lot of
like
it's machine
it's like a
learning.
weed. It grew up out of nowhere.
Yeah, but a lot of it's machine learning and not really AI, right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
I like when it shows up in your searches. Like, for example, I sent out a weekly email to my sellers, right? And I took last week. Wall Street Journal had a big bunch of articles about AI, and they compared like the top 5. So I took what I would have written, right, and put it in one column, and then I copy and pasted that into Gemini, which is Google's AI, and and it was much better, but it just follows the rules of writing. It's like condenses it, and it actually spells it out. It's not AI. It's just something that's better at writing than I am. It's not creative. It didn't have any content. And I know I don't have AI because I'm like, put in something completely absurd. It can't figure it out. So
That stuff in your
and they're all
searches
based
too.
on-
It's like
yeah.
that's not AI either. That's just like Eliza, basically.
It's
basically
algorithms
like some
based-
dumb thing talking back to you, chatbot talking back to you about
Yep.
what you're searching for. It's not. There's no AI involved. It's the same algorithm it's been using forever, like to search.
It's
but
like
it
like
just
all
talks back to you about what you're
it's-
searching for.
right. It's the data
Yeah.
scientists trying to like just tweak algorithms, and like statistical models to try and like replicate like the true.
Right.
It's a branch. It's a
So-
branch of AI. It's not really.
You guys remember Eliza? Am I not like completely? Yeah, it was like that old like chatbot, but that's like from the 80s.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Wasn't it like it was like your therapist or something?
Yeah,
you'd be
yeah.
like, "I'm having a bad day," and it's like, "I'm so sorry." How
no
can
matter
I
what
help
you said, it said, "So how does that feel?" Like, yeah. It's basically
So
what
I
everybody
gotta-
wants
I gotta
to
boogie,
anyway,
guys.
so it's-
I gotta go to my Saturday
Yeah, well, wait,
morning.
we gotta
Love you,
dig the
Sensei.
we gotta dig the book out
Great to
before
see
you
you.
go, man.
What-
Wait, we
dig it
gotta dig
out.
the book out before you go, man.
Dig it out.
Dig what? The
Go.
next book
All
out?
right,
here
The
we
next, the next week?
Just
Okay.
act.
what do you got?
Drum roll, please. I have to add a drum roll to our soundboard here.
You need that, and you need kung fu fighting.
Yeah, actually, that's
Wait,
another
yeah,
thing. While he's getting that book out, I just want to say, I will say it again. If there's anything you want me to add, if you want me to update the logo or the thing, you want to add something to the description, whatever it is,
Yeah.
just let me know.
What is
He, she,
Says
it.
he, she, and it? Oh, that
March
sounds like a
Piercy, yeah.
present day transgender book.
Interesting. That should be good.
Well, what do you
He
think?
and it, huh?
I like anything that deals
Guys
with
ready?
pronouns.
You guys read it?
No.
This was
Like anything
your
that has
girl,
to do with
right? She's the one that came up with Jackrabbit, right?
Yeah, she gave me my name. Friends with her on
Yeah.
Facebook.
So
Nice.
give her, yeah. Is she still alive?
Yeah, she's still around.
Send her the
She's a,
link. Send her the link
crazy
for next
cat lady.
week where we discuss it. You know what I mean?
See if I can get her on. We can
unfriend
interview
you.
So
we can get
does
one
the
human to
pulling Does the pulling of that book mean that now you're going to read that, G, and like
Yeah,
tell us
he's
about
gonna
it next week?
try.
Well, I'm going to read it, yes, between now and next week. But am I going to continue to read it after that? I don't know. That's the bag of book challenge. We're going to get
So
to
it's
the
kind
end
of
of the
like
bag
it's
of the
kind of
books
like
either way.
it's kind of like a book club thing. It's kind of sort of like a book club thing. We have talked
almost
about
like a
books.
real book club.
I have
Right.
to do
Well,
something
yeah.
with these
Well,
books. I bought
like
them
we-
on eBay.
Everybody read the same book. No,
It's like
Look,
like we tried
just
to
to
do when
prove
we
I
first
bought it on
started doing
eBay.
it.
There's the ticket.
I got a
Doesn't look
boogie,
too
you
bad,
guys.
actually.
Read it.
All right,
Matt,
Matt.
good luck.
This is
I mean,
fun.
No, I
Yeah.
don't want you guys to
Fun.
read it. I don't want
Go
you guys
Phils.
to read it.
Good, because
All right, buddy.
Oh, I don't have to
Go
read
Phillies.
it?
Yeah, man. Go Phil.
But,
Don't forget. Place
We'll
your
each read
bets.
a chapter.
Yeah.
We'll see how good
Yeah,
it
and,
was.
Explain
and
the
hey,
All right, I'll
DraftKings,
talk
in
to you
case
soon,
you're
bro.
listening, DraftKings.
see, Matt.
Yeah, DraftKings,
Yeah, right.
FanDuel.
Draft
What was
Daddy
the number?
Draft Gang.
FanDuel, Matt,
We love you all.
you
All
give
good
us free money.
companies,
All
good, honest corporations.
right, man. I hope I'll see you during the week.
Safe and effective.
Pen,
But yeah,
pen
but
racing,
I
pen
want to
racing.
go back to
Yeah.
the AI thing, because you're talking about like, oh well, it's not really thinking, right? It's like these algorithms, and it's like one of the things that's blowing my mind when we're talking about this is like, I had mentioned this book that I've been reading last week called the Determined by this Robert Sapolsky guy, where he's breaking down how he doesn't believe in free will because what we're constituted of, right? Like not only our biology, but also like the learning that we've gone through, considering like, our environment, everything that kind of brought us to this point where we think, oh, well, we're making free decisions, right? What he's saying is that like, well, no, actually, it's all determined. Like there's nothing that you ever chose, right? There's nothing that you individually chose to bring you to this point. So he's saying like your environment, your parents, your genetics, et cetera, right? He's like goes down the whole list, and he says like at no point in any of these influences on you, right, was your choice involved, right? And so that is his explanation for why he doesn't think that there's a free will as we know it, right? Not that I necessarily agree or disagree. I'm just putting it out there. And I just think it's interesting to hear us talk about like what is and is not AI in that context, right? It's just kind of interesting. Like what are we, if not like a complex algorithm? You know what I mean? Where we're just basically acting out our patterns and our programming that we picked up, thinking in our, we're thinking that we're making decisions, and we're thinking that we're making choices based on like our individual preferences. And I think that in that context, well, how much different are we really than AI?
Not me, man. I'm rolling dice to figure out everything. I don't know what's going on next. I'm rolling dice, man.
Gordon has an
Oh, fumble.
Gordon has a matrix for that. He's developed the matrix.
Yeah,
for
I was
everything.
working on that yesterday.
Everything.
You guys are stuck in the matrix.
Yeah.
Just for the
Kids, well,
record,
guess we
I
better
do
wrap
want to
up,
I
man.
just do want to say for the record, that John and I actually, that is how we lived our lives for a period of time. I'm not joking.
Like one of us
Really?
would walk
You just
over and
want
hit
to
the
roll
other
the die?
person and be like, "Why'd you
That's
do that?"
right.
I rolled it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Roll this
rolled
money.
it.
I tell
I'm gonna
So we were
do that
basically
with my wife.
setting ourselves up to be the antagonist in No Country for Old Men, is what we were doing.
We had die 100, and we'd write 100 things down on the paper, and we'd have to do
Right.
whatever we rolled.
Total random.
Oh God,
That
was
was
Yeah,
our
the guy.
lives.
He had a coin flip. You guys had 1 to 100.
100-sided dice.
we should do that and pick a book.
Hey, it's a totally different scene
Gorda,
if the
this
hands
week
are
I
like
want-
2 dice and says roll it. Yeah. It's just not the same like amount of tension. Yeah. She's
Number
like,
53
I don't
was
want to
drop
roll 'em.
acid. So
I don't want to roll them.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah, a little different.
all right, kids.
All right.
I gotta
Great.
go.
Country
I
for
love
I
you.
gotta
days.
go too.
Frazier,
All right,
hold on.
man. I'll see you guys soon. I
Yeah,
can't wait
you
to
Love
see
you
what
guys.
Go ahead, Mike.
it looks like.
Exactly.